So can we start this podcast off with some beef I got with you, bro?
With me? You have beef with me?
I do.
I feel really proud that
You
you
ready
actually
for
have
this shit?
beef with me. Oh my
How?
God. Hold on. I'm going to get a little anxious. Okay, I'm ready.
How in the fuck do you think you could beat us in a workshop? Go.
The Coaches Collaboration Podcast.
Hey, this is Josh Pearson.
Performance specialist with the Complete Athlete.
This is Cole Warren.
Certified USAPL club coach and owner of Salutum Health and Performance. Each week, Cole and Josh will take you through training techniques and tips, talk to athletes and fitness professionals to educate and motivate you for your fitness goals. Plus, you'll follow the journeys of Team Salutum Powerlifting and get complete athletes. The Coaches Collaboration Podcast is brought to you by Salutum Health and Performance. Take your full power potential to a new level. Online powerlifting coaching. Customized programming to fit your individual needs and goals. Access to a coach 24/7. Whether you need a quick form check or a full program, Salutum Health and Performance has one goal in mind, taking you to the next level. Got a meet coming up? Ask about on-site coaching. Join the team that's setting records across the powerlifting community. Team Salutum Powerlifting with Salutum Health and Performance. Online at salutumhp.com. salutumhp.com. And now, the Coaches Collaboration Podcast.
How do you think you could beat us?
What kind of workshop?
I don't care if it's wood or metal. I don't care. How do
I know.
you think?
Can we give some background to this?
No. We're starting it off.
We need to know
just
why
like
you were
this.
so triggered right
Oh
now.
my God. Because she was like, you guys, here's what I heard. Not what she said. Here's what I heard. You motherfuckers, you pussy ass bitches, you think you know your way around a workshop? Pfft, you don't know shit. I don't care if you're a carpenter. I don't care if you worked with your dad your whole life. I don't give a fuck. I will build a house around you by the time you even get one piece of wood cut on that bandsaw,
Wait,
bitch.
this is what Brooke said.
This is what
This is what Josh heard when I said.
This is what I heard.
Okay, what did I actually say? What I actually said was, by the way, I guarantee that I can use everything in a workshop just as good as you can.
Nope, that's not what I heard. It's not what I heard.
I'm actually a carpenter, so
Yeah, but that doesn't mean shit.
Listen,
Jesus
I
was a carpenter too. They
I
killed
was
him.
a thespian for 6 years, okay?
Great.
And I was an alto, and I was swarthy and kind of chunky, and I never got the lead role. So I did a lot of set building for 6 years, okay?
You know what?
I actually get paid to do that.
You know,
stuff,
there are
so.
people that are personal trainers too, but it doesn't mean they know what they're doing.
That's true. I mean, there's good
Oh.
and bad. There's good and bad to everything, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
That is a hot ass topic right now.
You're a
because
carpenter, but do you work
everybody-
with carpet?
Hold on a second.
Didn't think so,
Hold on.
There's literally carpet on the walls in this studio, so that's pretty sick.
which is pretty sweet.
That would make you a carpenter.
Mm.
Yes, we've already established that.
Yeah, he likes pounding that knee thing. Just to get
Why
that
is
carpet in.
This
everything
is why
about-
we need a camera.
Why is everything about busting a nut with Josh? Like, Josh is literally 9 times out of 10, what's coming out of his mouth, he is trying to figure out how to make it
I think,
evolve into busting a nut.
yeah, I think he might not be getting enough at home or
Oh,
something.
I'm getting enough.
Too much?
Is there such a thing? Actually, yes, there is. There are times when it's like, get the fuck off me.
Right?
God damn it.
Literally, my
This
legs
is day
are
6, bitch.
cramping right
Right.
now. Can you fucking chill?
This is
out?
day 6, bitch. Get the fuck off me.
What?
Oh,
you wish you
Or
were.
here's how bad it
sad.
is. It's after 8 o'clock. No.
Dang, dude.
Some nights that's how I
Well,
am.
dude, I gotta
Like,
get up
fuck,
at
I'm
3,
tired. Exactly.
right?
I'm fucking tired.
And
Go
it's,
to-
I'm literally
Right.
laying down to go to bed because I have 7 hours of sleep.
right. And I give her shit and I'm like, you're going to be asleep in 8 minutes. So whether
Yeah.
it's me getting you off or you just fall asleep on top, not really excited.
Yeah. Take that to the
Dead silence.
bank or
You are
put
not
that in
a-
your pipe and smoke it.
Put that in your pipe.
You wish I'd smoke your pipe, but it's not going to happen. That said,
Who do you think has seen my penis?
okay, white elephant in the room.
Right?
So for the longest time, you are getting married, Josh, to Courtney. However-
C-O-U. Courtney.
I have never met Courtney. And then you talk about Shelby, who does a lot of help for the
Sounds
Coaches
the
Collab.
same.
Yep.
They both end in a B, so
The
shush.
exact
Like a
same.
B
In a
sound, like a
B?
B, like Courtney,
That's an
Shelby.
E
There's like an
sound.
alliteration towards the end.
Not a B sound.
Whatever,
B
you know
is
what I'm saying.
But,
Like, calm down. You guys need to calm down.
You need to get your shit together, bro.
I do need to get my shit together because until about 15 minutes ago, I thought Courtney and Shelby were the same person.
And they're not. So
They're not.
she thought that Josh was sleeping with Shelby.
I made a penis joke. And I couldn't figure out why Cole looked like he was going to crawl in a hole and die and didn't want to laugh at it.
And I was just confused. I'm like,
Right.
And then it turned aggressively towards me when I realized that
dare
these are
you
two
say?
different women.
How dare you say another woman has seen my penis, even though if you have? How dare you?
I will
I
say though,
doubt there's very many.
Ow! Hey, you know what the challenge was? No ginger jokes. That was a good one. That was a good one.
here's the deal. Here's the deal. The question is, how many have willingly seen your penis?
Yeah, because I've heard
Is this the
stories
Me
about
Too
you.
movement here? Jesus.
No, I mean like it
The
doesn't
Me
count.
Too
If,
movement.
it doesn't count if you walk around like the guy selling watches, going, "Hey, you want to see something? Check this out."
Oh, yeah. Just like drop trout at
you
the
a
gym and just start strutting.
You're a
starts
flasher on your off time.
That's exactly what I am.
That's why
Fuck
those big windows in the gym come in really handy for you, don't
yeah.
they?
Why do you think there's chalk all over me when I'm working out?
Why
I'm
do
just
you-
grabbing myself and just like, ah.
Josh gives a whole new meaning to the word headshot. Hey, ladies, I signed it for you.
Yeah.
Why does it look like a strange foreign firefighter wearing an odd helmet?
And there seems to be a lot of fire.
And it
in
seems
the
like, yeah. It's just flaming at the base. Look at all that fire.
Was this one of those original shots from the movie Backdraft? I don't know.
All right. All right.
I don't even know where to go.
So
from
she
here.
thought.
And by the way, not only am I good at penis jokes, but I'm also very good in the workshop. So shut up.
There you go. Yeah.
I challenge you to a router off any day.
A router off.
I'll
You know-
route circles around you.
Right? There you go.
I don't know. I might have a better edge in the competition, though. Oh, you guys
I was
missed it.
coughing.
You're
I didn't
coughing.
hear
I
it.
said I might have a better edge on the competition.
Oh,
There
yeah,
you go.
Not
A
great.
router joke. By the way, welcome to the Coaches Collab.
Honestly, one of the toughest things about this podcast is trying to have a conversation with these two because you literally say one thing and they take it fucking 15 miles in the opposite direction that I want it to go.
That's why we cut Brooke's mic off once in a while.
would walk.
Yeah, we just cut her off.
Back to
Basically,
actual
we never
opening.
we never actually started because he started originally just trying to throw shade at me about his router skills.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Came in hot. Didn't
Have you
even
seen
do-
those jerk blocks, even though they look like shit right now?
And they break all the time, so maybe you need to make them a
get-
little more.
I need to make them out of steel for sure.
There you go.
Yeah, wood.
Rogue makes some awesome like adjustable jerk
Yeah,
blocks,
but they're
Those
like
things are sick.
$1,000 or some shit.
Yeah, you're right. You're a
You know?
personal trainer.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll just make them. Fuck it. We made these. We can make some.
I
metal
tell you,
ones.
dude. I told you, dude. I'm a hell of a welder.
Yeah. Well, MIG weld that shit up. Are you a arc welder, MIG welder, TIG welder? What do you like?
I'm a wire feed guy.
Wire
myself.
feed MIG. Mm-hmm. Easy.
Yeah.
Easier.
I told myself I won't start welding until I have the legs of the Flashdance lady. So that'll be never.
Yeah. And you think you're gonna beat us in the shop? Got it.
So we have a group chat,
Segue.
us three, and Josh must have been on a grocery trip today,
Mhm.
grocery shopping,
I was at Walmart.
and he sends us these pictures of these different types of cereal.
So
right?
triggered.
So what the
Check
first
out my Instagram.
the first one was
Sour Patch.
Sour Patch,
Oh fuck you.
Kid
post.
cereal.
and then
yeah,
there was
for real.
powdered donut cereal.
Yeah.
and then what was the other one?
Caramel rolls or cinnamon.
No,
rolls.
cinnamon
honey
rolls.
buns.
Honey buns.
Honey
There it
buns.
was.
That's right.
So basically, all the shit that like we used to love to eat as a snack as a kid, that now that we're older, we realize is eating our body from the inside out.
Terrible. for
We're
you.
now turning it into cereal, and we're supposed to be saying it's part of a complete breakfast.
Okay, so
Fucking
Josh,
crazy.
now
Oh, by the
since
way,
we,
right next to Chips Ahoy.
hell yeah,
All right.
dude, this is like my dream aisle. So now you can go off on your rant. Once you
Oh
gotta
my
tell the
God.
listeners. What
So
the
this is where it
frick
came
you're
from.
talking
Basically, you're shopping and you had a total, Walter Brimley diabetes moment in the
For
cereal
real.
aisle.
I could see him just walking up and down the aisle, like getting more pissed and just more red and
I
red.
was.
and
Looking like a
red and red.
basketball coach during a
Yes.
tournament.
Well, okay. So I'm gonna get a little political on you. You ready for this?
Uh-oh.
I'm just gonna turn my mic off.
Yep.
Well, no. So during the Obama administration,
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Obama, she wanted to make kids healthier and change school lunch.
Yep.
So Courtney's a first grade teacher. Those school lunches are shit.
Trash.
Absolute shit. Okay.
Yep.
So we're
Have
already
you seen the protocol on that?
no.
Like we learned about it in a nutrition class that I
Mhm.
took, but I don't remember exactly. But I just remember it being absolute.
It's crazy.
Garbage.
I mean, there are some 3-4 day spans. They're not getting any legitimate meat source
Yeah. No
or
protein.
real
yeah.
protein. They're getting milk, fine, But
Or they get the cheese on a cheese pizza or something
Right,
like that,
yeah.
but it's
Hey,
not like chicken.
sometimes they won't even give you cheese on like a burger because it's too many calories. It's
Right.
Do
insane.
you know what was shitty for me in high school?
What?
I'm freaking 230
Yeah.
pounds, right?
You never
And-
got enough food.
$8
No,
meals.
yeah, because I had to get seconds every single day.
Mhm.
So my mom
So
would be
expensive.
like, "Wait, you need lunch money again?" I'm like, "Yeah, mom, I need to eat. Like I'm like 2 meals of the
Right.
lunch food is a regular meal for me."
Yeah. And
but
for
what's
us,
funny is because I was obviously active.
right, absolutely.
There's kids that don't need that many calories
Oh,
too, which
right.
that's is why I think
sure.
the average lunch was like 700 calories or something like
Yeah,
that.
and I mean, let's say a kid is 130 pounds. 700 calories at lunch can be a lot,
yeah.
you know?
Here's the part where it gets really sad, though, is that one of the reasons why I think it is so important that we get a better balanced, better food lunch, and it's going to cost us more. We know
Yeah,
this.
absolutely.
Because that's the problem with our society now is if you want to try to eat healthy, it's going to cost you a fortune in comparison to, like, I just had to up my
That's a
monthly
cop-out.
budget.
It really
It is a cop out, but I'm just saying it is honest to God truth.
Yeah.
That like when I've just added my new macros and my healthier eating into my diet, I had to up my monthly grocery budget by like almost $100 for the full family.
So
Holy
we did.
shit.
Hold on.
We
got
gotta
to
walk through
so
that.
back.
but
Yeah.
So this was probably what episode like 4 or 5 that we did like eating on a budget
on a budget, yeah.
for health.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh went through and mapped out like what you can do
Right.
to still get all the healthy foods, but have it be cheap.
Yeah,
so
it was like $8
Right.
a day. or something.
listeners,
No.
that's why we need to know.
Now
what
think about
podcast,
that.
but I
All right. Now
forget.
think about the fact that yes, there's a roadmap to eat cheaper. The initial, when you first start and you just start throwing whatever you think, whatever's being called for, it costs you more. That's
Yeah.
what everybody keeps saying. Well, it's going to cost too much money. Well, yeah, you can feed your family of 8 for $8 with 97-cent tacos, which are horrible for them. So we've become this kind of backwards thinking society. And the other sad part is that for these kids who are going, especially in public schools,
It's their only meal.
it's their only meal. So if we're going to be spending more money, if you need to tax me a little bit more to make sure that the kids of America are eating better, I will pay you more.
Sometimes
I
they get
will add
breakfast
it.
too, but it's cereal bars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
crazy.
cereal bars, fruit,
Yeah.
and things like that. A lot of very high carb, even though some of the sugars are more of a natural sugar, like unsweetened applesauce, things like that. We're still talking about a lot of carb-based
sure.
stuff. And granted, it's going to give them that real quick energy source. But I mean, I don't know. We can't even send our kids to school with peanut butter anymore because of all of the allergies
Nut
that have come up.
allergies.
You know why they didn't have these allergies back in the day? I guarantee it's because of the fact that we weren't eating the crap food that we are now,
sure.
and all of the changes, all of the what do they call it, like genetically modified, and all this other like processed crap that we
white
now
flour
eat.
and white sugar is the worst.
Right. And it's just really sad to me that, I mean, I have a child who he takes cold lunch every day. Don't get me wrong. He's not eating a perfectly healthy diet. I was bad about it. I didn't get him into eating, like he won't eat a raw carrot. He'll eat a cooked carrot, but he won't eat a raw carrot. So like my kid isn't the one who goes to school with crunchy veg and stuff like
Right,
that. But
yeah, he's not the weird kid eating perfect. Yeah.
right. But there's a lot of kids now that, and you see it out of the parents who send their kids to school with lunch. They actually have really good lunches.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whole grain crackers, and they're eating meats and
But
cheeses.
there's a lot of
and-
parents that aren't willing to do that.
No, they
So
send
then
them
their
with a
kids-
Lunchable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then their kids suffer.
Yeah, for sure. And what ticks me off the most, and going back to the cereal thing, is so our kids are eating these shitty ass lunches, which probably cost less than they used to. But in the end, how much is diabetes going to cost us as a country when all the kids need medication?
Well, let's be real. It doesn't even go as far as diabetes. It goes into just being overweight.
Yeah.
Or just having improper nutrition, and our kids aren't developing the way
Right.
they should.
And productivity is going to go down. And I mean, so all these bad
Diabetes.
things. And then now we have Sour Patch cereal,
Hey, dude,
right?
it's good, man.
Which, I mean, when I was a kid, I certainly ate Frosted Flakes and Marshmallow Mateys, which was Malto Meals.
Just think
Lucky
about
Charms,
how
but-
much taller you would be if you ate regular food when you were young,
Yeah, I
not
know.
cereal.
yeah, but you
man.
know what's funny is,
All I have to do, though, is stand on my dick and I'm taller. Jesus.
oh my God, by half an inch. Let's do this here, though.
I'll take a half an inch. Oh, shit. Jesus.
No,
I'll be
but
5'7" and a half an inch. Fuck it.
I ate a lot
You're
of those.
5'7". That's how short you are.
Yes,
Jeez.
that's how short I
I
am.
thought you were like
I am
5'8".
literally 4 inches taller than you.
What's the difference between 5'7" and 5'8" when you look like this?
Like what?
Like this.
Explain what you look like.
Ginger.
Red-headed with orange hands.
Red-headed, orange hands, white skin, and a
You need to
smile.
fucking figure it out, dude.
When you say smile like that, it's very creepy, like you drive a van. I need you to not do that.
Well, I drive.
A tiny little hatchback.
I do drive a tiny little hatchback.
Gas getter, baby.
Fuck yeah. It does. It goes like, I won't
A
honk
little
the
car
horn.
for a little man.
Seriously, I won't honk the horn because it goes, meep.
It's almost more embarrassing.
It is. Like, you're
I'll
sitting
just
at the
wait
light.
behind this
right.
person because I'm
Like,
too
you
embarrassed to honk.
I'm not going to honk my horn. That's exactly right. I'm like, I should honk.
just
This
open the
motherfucker
window.
just cut me up. Right? I'm going to step out of my car, bitch.
He opens the window and just yells, honk. It sounds better than his horn.
Oh my goodness. So we're giving our kids these shitty ass cereals. The whole cereal aisle is just Frosted Flakes, and Lucky Charms comes in Frosted Flakes. It comes in Crunch Berries now. There's some magical, fuck yeah. Like there's
That's
Crunch
weird.
Berries. It's basically Crunch Berries with marshmallows.
Do you know what's funny too?
Sugar. What?
Look at where they place them.
Right at
They're
kids'
right
eye
at
level.
kids' eye.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the healthy stuff
Way
is
at the
way
top.
at the top.
Mhm.
Yep.
Exactly. And the kids,
They know what they're doing, man.
well, there's tons of advertisements and ads and things
Well,
like
every
that.
single cereal has a mascot.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
kids know who these
Tony the
these
Tiger
mascots
and-
are.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cookie Crisp.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's got it. For
That
real.
was pretty good.
That's
dude.
exactly right.
You should
really
do
good.
ads.
You want me to? Here's an ad.
Great.
Here's an ad. Don't be a fucking lazy parent. Make your own fucking breakfast for your goddamn kids. Otherwise, they're going to grow up to be just like me. And you don't want that. Take
Jeez,
care of your
dude.
kids. You know what? I grew up on Fruit Loops and buttered toast.
Yeah. And
Right.
you're an asshole.
You dip that shit into Fruit Loops.
So don't do that.
No
to
protein.
your kid.
All I had was carbs. This is what you get. Don't you feed that shit to your kids.
That's it right there. What he just said is exactly the point of why you're talking about this.
Exactly.
You can have Sour Patch Kids cereal, but you need to be adding more. The thing that they get away with is they always talk about it's part of a complete breakfast. Guess what? Cheerios are much healthier for you, but they're not it.
Right.
They're still just a carb. And I think it comes down to not necessarily educating parents that you have to feed your kids frickin' shredded wheat every morning, but you need to be good about it. Like, are they getting proper vitamins? Do you need to add in a half a banana to it? Like throw some berries
General
inside.
Mills enriches theirs. There's
Enriched wheat.
25 different vitamins that come in it. It's super good for you.
Yeah, but you know what?
With 1 gram of fiber per box.
As a mom who has crazy busy mornings, right?
Yeah.
My kid has to be on the bus by 7. I don't like mornings. So we get up about 6:15 and it looks like Home Alone every morning, okay? Run around, pack the backpack, pack the lunch, go. For example, you can still take some help from food that isn't from scratch.
For sure.
Like when you're meal prepping for yourself for the week, you can meal prep for your family.
Right.
I'm a big fan of buying like the already pre-cooked Jimmy Dean sausage links.
Yep.
Because even though they're going to be higher fat, he's not eating 4 of them. He's eating 2 of them with his cereal. Weekends we always do pancakes, but then we add in, can I get him to eat some eggs? Can I get him to eat some Jimmy Dean sausage? Something that's going to stick with him. It's
Yeah.
going to have, it may not still be perfect, but there are easy and really affordable ways, I think, as parents and as just human beings in general, if you're in charge of feeding somebody other than just yourself,
Yeah.
there are easy ways to make it palatable, to make it affordable, but still be able to say, you know what, I'm going to let you have your Crunch Berries and your other thing, but you're still going to be getting good nutrition. Like,
When I was
Come on.
when I was in school, my mom, well, obviously she's not at school with me, but she had this rule where I could only get chocolate milk on Fridays. So throughout the week, and I was such a good kid. Like I was like,
it's like you
afraid,
knew she was going to
I was
find out.
afraid she was gonna freaking, if I would
Right.
grab one, she'd come up from behind me and smack me in the back of the head. So when I was
Good
going
parenting,
through
for real.
elementary school, I would only have chocolate milk on
Yeah.
Fridays. And then I said, F this.
Fuck you.
My mom, she doesn't know this shit.
Right.
I'll have chocolate milk whenever I want.
Didn't you
She
say your
listens to
mother
this
listens to
podcast.
this?
She's
Yep.
going to slap you next time you get home.
So mother, awesome parenting. What the hell happened? What the hell happened to your kid? To go back to go back to breakfast
Sorry,
with your
Mom.
kid, ways you can make it better. So let's say they need to not need, but let's say they end up having Crunch Berries. There are some milks like Fairlife that are
Dude.
so high in protein.
Dude, I have so much Fairlife.
Fuck
Every
yeah.
time I go to the store, I grab 5
Those
things.
big ass jugs.
Yeah, because they're not gallons.
No, they're quarts or
Yeah, I don't know exactly.
Probably half gallons.
I think they're half gallon.
maybe. Yeah.
But it's kind of shitty because they're $4 per half gallon.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what you can do to help though? Because let's be honest, milk in general is going to be a little higher in carbs and sugar too because it naturally occurs in milk.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are parents who cannot afford, with the amount of milk they go through, to do the Fairlife, to look at something like a Ripple milk, which is this new pea protein milk. I
But what
couldn't
about
talk.
like instead of milk? What about a yogurt?
Well, see, what I think could happen is because remember too, things like milk and Cheerios and all those a lot of times are WIC approved too. So if you're one of those, like I grew up the welfare household, like we had the food stamps and the commodities and all of that.
I gotta
you can
believe-
still get a higher fat content milk. You don't
sure.
have to give your kids skim milk. You can give them whole 2% or 1%. That's going to add a little bit more protein in, not a ton, but a little. And then you add in like a yogurt, a Go-Gurt on the side. That's going to give them their good bacteria.
Yeah. And
things like
Go-Gurts
that.
come in Greek yogurt form now,
Yeah.
right? So they can have a snack.
Dude, Go-Gurts were my shit when I was
Fuck yeah.
growing up. So good.
Just don't let it blow up in your backpack.
Right.
Yeah, that
but there are
sucks.
also some
Dude,
cereals. or
what's
even
better than a frozen Go-Gurt? Oh,
a frozen Pop-Tart.
What?
That's what's better.
You
Fuck
freeze your
yeah.
this is why we're not friends.
Dude, a
Oh my
cookies and
God.
cream Pop-Tart right out of the freezer.
I'm about to say something that you might kick me out of the room. Pop-Tarts are trash.
They are trash.
Yeah, they're bad.
They're
I
fucking
hate
bad.
I don't
for
like
you.
them.
Like other than the raspberry frosted
Or
or the cinnamon frosted,
know
the
what I
rest of
mess
them are all
with?
trash.
Brown sugar cinnamon, and there's a birthday cake one.
Oh.
There's
yeah.
too many birthday cake things.
Everything that
way
tastes
too
like
many
birthday cake, I just want you to know,
Tastes
is
like
just
Fruity Pebbles.
chemicals.
It tastes like fruity
yeah, for
just
sure, dude.
chemicals.
I drink Monsters.
And it's
Yeah, dude.
extract of
I'm not
beaver
afraid of-
anus.
I
not
work
afraid
with a
of-
lady who
Did you know
used to
that?
make monsters,
Yeah.
and she's like, I won't even walk near a monster. There's that much shit in them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? I'm like, well,
Literally, so everything is bad for you.
Yeah.
You have diet
life is bad for you.
energy drinks because you don't want the full flavor energy drink because it has a ton of sugar in it.
Mhm.
So you go diet. Well, all that shit that makes that diet drink still taste good is going to kill
It's
you.
still robbing
You know
your
what else
bones
is
of
going to kill you?
calcium.
The sugar from that other drink. So it's like
You pick your poison.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what
Unless
else
you
is
just
gonna
want to
kill you?
drink water all day, which that's not a life I want to live, buddy.
Here's the deal, Brandon Fokin, if you're listening. I drink water all day long. That is all I drink. Like, I don't drink Diet Coke or,
By the way, that's
you know,
her
have coffee.
nutritionalist. Am I seeing a Diet Coke can, or am I just seeing things? I don't know.
Don't make me make another penis joke about you. Leave my
As-
Diet Coke alone. That's the only, okay.
As
Other
she
than
sips
after meat, because, you know,
on
I totally
coffee.
did cheat meal after meat yesterday. I had some Diet Coke when we were at Chili's and then this Diet Coke, but I really haven't had Diet Coke. I had a couple this last week and I never even finished them. I bet you money on it. It's not even finished.
There's like
That was the most empty can. The most empty can ever.
It's like a third. It's got like a third left.
I
Okay?
come more than there is in that
Okay,
can.
Jesus
God, you
Christ.
and the nut jokes.
Oh, I love
God
it.
damn it, dude.
I would say I pee more, but obviously I could fill that whole water bottle.
Wait, do you hear Whitesnake? Here he goes again on the throne.
I almost have to go again.
Diet Coke was what saved me when I went keto because you couldn't have sugar and it's so sweet. So then when I came off of sugar, or excuse me, came off of keto and I'm now on this hybrid plan, it's amazing to me you don't crave
Right,
it
you don't
anymore.
crave it as much.
You know what's funny is you call it hybrid plan. You know what I call it? Normal eating.
Right.
You know?
Well,
It's just everybody's got a label for it. Well, I'm like,
it's normal
it's
in the
not it's not normal for me yet. That's
Right,
why it's
right,
not normal.
right.
Like for me it's a hybrid plan because of the fact that it's not how I normally eat. I normally eat trash.
we'll call you the raccoon from now on.
Okay.
Especially when we get you on camera. We're going to
Raccoon.
just start putting war paint on you.
Oh, Jesus. If you think it's hard to change your own diet, it is so incredibly heartbreaking to try to tell your kid no.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, one of the parts of parenting we're also afraid. We're so afraid that we're going to fail at it that we don't even try sometimes. Trying to move my son into eating better is a struggle every single day. Like he'll get chicken nuggets, but then he also gets green beans. He's going to get something else. Like he has a sensory thing. And so rice does not go over in our household for him at all.
What
Like-
a rice noodle.
Well, that's just it. Is I'm getting him into eating pastas and, you know, always make sure that I have a vegetable. I try to do fresh fruit as much as possible, not just applesauce. He likes things like cheese. He likes, he doesn't really like crackers, which is weird. But I know, right? So like you start to go, shoot, but he'll eat a really good beef stick. So I try to figure out a way, like when I send Snack to school, to not send him with fruit snacks, to not send him
but they're
with
the
Chips
best.
Ahoy.
Fruit snacks are so good.
Right? But I also have a kid who is ginormous. He's not even 7 yet, and he's already
he's a
in
big kid.
10, 12 closing.
Yeah.
He is super tall, and he's one of those kids that I give him credit. He only eats until he's full. Once he's full, he stops. He doesn't do that clean plate club thing.
Right. Yeah.
But the scary thing is
That's
when
a
he
scary club. When your parents force you to finish
clean
your
plate
plate.
club.
Mhm.
The only way we do clean plate club is when we know he's not eating his dinner.
Right.
But when it comes to like if he's eating well his dinner, then we never do clean plate club.
Right.
But if I know he's sitting there and all he wants to do is like let's say we're doing sloppy joes and he gets some chips and we'll have green beans and something else or something. The only way we'll do a clean plate club on that is like if he decides he only wants to eat his Doritos. No, you will eat your vegetable.
Right.
You will,
Right.
you know, you have to have some of it. But it's really hard. It is so taxing because in your brain, you're like, can we just be done with dinner? Can we go and enjoy the rest of our evening? But no, you sit at that table for 45 minutes with a
Yep.
6-year-old who you
Refuses
can
to
tell
eat,
it.
yeah.
And you can tell that it's not because he despises everything that's on the plate. It becomes more of, it's like a battle.
Standoff.
Testing his boundaries.
Totally.
Yeah. for sure.
Totally.
Right.
It's making it so hard to
Well,
parent.
these companies know that these kids like this stuff,
Right.
so
Right.
they think, hey, we'll sell it.
Yeah.
The kids will see it and they want it.
Right.
Right. And a good trick for stuff like that is trying to stay to the perimeter of the building, right? Because
Yeah.
anytime you go
Yep.
into an aisle, that's where all that shit is. Now, sometimes you need to go into the aisle, but that's where you have the buddy system. You know, you send your husband or, you know, I'll send Courtney, go get that shit. I'll
Yep.
hold the kids.
Well, because think about what's on the outside of the store. It's
yeah. It's
your
produce.
produce,
yep,
and then your
anything
meats.
cold.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Anything
Mhm.
that needs to be plugged in, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So anytime you have to go into an aisle, that's where,
It really gets you, man.
yeah.
You know what my mom
Leave
used
your
to do
kids
to
at
me?
home chained up in the
Sneaky
closet
fucks.
so you can go.
She'd let me get the good cereal. I'd get that one good box of cereal I wanted.
What was your
right?
cereal?
Oh God, it always changed. But my favorite, they don't make it anymore, was King Vitamin. It was so not bad. It was basically like a knockoff Captain
King
Crunch without the
Vitamin?
berries.
Really?
That sounds like
so
Vita
good.
Chews.
No, King Vitamin. It literally looked like little stars. It looked like Captain Crunch. So like Captain Crunch would have been mine.
Cole, what
My
was your
go-to
go-to as a
cereal?
kid?
I was on a Lucky Charms kick for a long time as a kid, but I think I burned myself out because now I don't like it really at all.
Really?
Lucky Charms,
Pops.
Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries. I was a Honey Nut Cheerio for a
Really?
while too.
Yeah.
That's I could go for
French
some Honey Nut
toast
Cheerios right
Seriously, I would pour it in a giant Tupperware bowl. Like I would
now.
I
yeah,
would
don't
take it
fuck
out.
Around.
Yeah.
I would, dude.
Salad bowl.
I could put away a whole box of cereal in one night if I
Yeah.
was in like high school and I'm like,
For
I don't
real.
want to make anything. Let's just down this cereal.
Yeah. Captain Crunch without the berries, you could really put down.
Except for you had no roof of your mouth.
Yeah, exactly. It cuts the shit out of you.
Out of your mouth.
Is that?
You're like, I bleed for my nutrition.
Fucking knives. I don't even know.
It's so good. I'll sacrifice my
Dude,
fucking
my
mouth
favorite
for
my
it.
favorite was French Toast Crunch.
Ooh, yeah,
Oh.
Captain. Well,
I like
cinnamon toast crunch
Crunch.
Yeah.
was my go-to.
Oh,
for
but
a
this
while,
was
too.
fucking
Dude, cinnamon toast
Were
crunch.
they little
You-
like
little-
pieces of bread?
Yes.
God. Ugh.
Cinnamon toast crunch. I always want to be the last one to get the last bit because
You
it got the like
all the sugar and yes, all the cinnamon. Oh yeah.
So
I
we used to go with like the Malto meal style. So I had like marshmallow
Ooh.
because you could buy the just huge
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
bag.
dude.
So
Bang
we could
for your
just
buck, man.
Yeah, we could just eat the shit out of it. And when you would empty the bottom of a marshmallow mateys and just get fucking just sugar.
Yeah.
Your milk turned gray, by the way.
Oh,
it
yeah?
did.
Gray
It was
milk.
a grayish green.
Yes.
Yeah, weird, right?
Oh my gosh, it looks like the worst booger ever.
you-
What are your favorite
cereal now?
breakfasts? Whether it's breakfast or like right before you go to the gym. So how about this? It's, you know, it can be a cheat day, it can be anything. What is the one thing right before a workout, first thing in the morning, you would go for?
So that wouldn't.
So no diet. Fuck a diet right now.
Oh, I know what mine is.
What is yours?
Well,
Chicken fried steak and eggs.
Ooh.
Over easy eggs.
Ooh, see, I was
hash
thinking more
browns.
like donuts and shit, but all right,
No,
all right.
chicken fried
What do you
steak and
got?
eggs.
What do you got?
Hash browns. Sausage. Well, if you get meat with it, still it'd be
God.
sausage links over bacon.
I would be
and whole wheat
shitting
toast.
out my eyeballs with all that grease.
There's not as much grease in that as you
so
think.
what I do,
Really?
like on a Saturday morning when I'm lifting at like 10, what we do is we get the tater tots, the seasoned tater tots.
Yeah.
And then they're frozen, right? So you stick them in the microwave for about a minute or two. Take them out, take a fork and mash them up. Throw them in the frying pan.
Yeah.
Fry them up like hash browns. Oh, fuck. In butter, too.
And that's okay.
And then, so you get them, I like it crispy. I need a crunch, right? So you get them crispy, put them off to the side, then over easy eggs. And then on the eggs, you put some like, you ever had like Cajun seasonings on eggs?
No.
I season the fuck on my eggs.
Yeah. I'll use like a hot sauce or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
So
I use a Spanish seasoning and I can never remember the name of it. It's like by Goya or something like that. It's got like saffron and stuff in it. It's so good.
So you're
Yep,
a hash
and then-
browns
Incredible.
eggs guy.
and then I'll put the eggs, because I always just mash everything together. So I'll put the eggs over easy on top of the hash browns with shredded Fiesta style cheese
Really?
on top.
See, I always go back to the Fruit Loops and
Yeah.
buttered toast, but it'll be a huge ass bowl of cereal because I usually don't eat breakfast or breakfast foods.
Yep, me neither.
Huge bowl of cereal, 6 to 8 eggs on the side.
Damn,
and if I can
son.
convince Courtney to, she'll make me those Kodiak cakes.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
those
Ooh.
pancakes. Oh, fuck. And I'll just pound that shit.
Dude, you know what's funny is when I was just doing the, hey, you're supposed to be getting fit. Let's lose some weight. Let's eat clean. My breakfast sucked.
Yeah.
Here he goes again to the throne. No, we can pause too till he gets back, but
Well, we don't need to. I was going to say breakfast has been so, well, for one, the fact that we only eat certain foods a certain time of day because it's so-called a breakfast food, like the fact that a donut is a breakfast food blows my mind.
Donut is dessert.
Yes, it should be a dessert like after a dinner, right? But people will go and eat that first thing in the morning. All of this sugar, there's literally nothing but carbs in it. That's all it is. And that's insane to me that people like wake up and like, oh, I want a piece of cake right away because that's what it is.
okay, I'm not gonna lie to you that the best invention ever were those plastic dome cake covers because you can't open that shit without someone hearing it
Yeah.
from 2 miles away. So if you really want to watch what you're doing nutritionally, make sure your birthday cake's always in one of those because you cannot get up at 9 p.m. while everyone else is asleep and slink into the kitchen and think, I'm just gonna take a sliver of this chocolate cake. What's
Yep.
going on? Dog's up. Somebody over the neighbor starts calling. Do you got cake? What's going on? Yeah.
And then like it just, we've created this kind of thing that like breakfast is only these certain foods. So, I mean, if you're really, and I'm not this way anymore because I've been lax on my diet, but like there'd be times where I would just wake up and I'm like getting ready for a workout or whatever. Like, okay, well, what's a good pre-workout meal? A protein and rice, and then like maybe a fruit drink or something like that, so I can get some of those sugars in. But like a lot of people be like, "Ew, that for breakfast? That's disgusting." But it's
Dude.
like it doesn't.
Food is fuel.
Exactly.
Food is fuel. People think, well, if I'm going to eat healthy, I'm not going to have really good tasting foods. Are you kidding me? I get to eat waffles every
Right.
morning.
Yeah, they
Right.
think broccoli, brown rice, that
Right.
shit.
Or they think like dry toast.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you never eat when you're really trying to eat healthy? Dry toast.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
best diet plan is the one that works. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So
the one
Right.
that's sustainable.
if dried toast works great for you, cool. But I
If
mean,
you like dried toast
Right.
and that's what you're gonna eat.
yeah,
then
if you like
fucking-
bland as shit food and you like your hormones being all jacked up and you like putting on 50 pounds in the off season, great, go for it. Yeah, I know a few people at the gym that they took it to an extreme and their body pushed back.
Yeah, of
and
course.
they're effed. I mean, it's not something you want to mess with. But what is your favorite post workout meal? So actually, let me
Post-workout meal.
preface
Mine's
this.
boring.
Let me ask another question. If you hit a PR or miss a PR, are your meals different? Like, do you reward yourself even if you miss,
Ooh.
or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Not necessarily.
Okay.
I don't, but I could see how people could.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they're on their way home and they drive by a McDonald's, they're like, "Dang, you know what?"
I feel shitty because I missed my PR,
Or
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
or I feel great. Yeah,
You know what? I worked my ass off today. I
Mhm.
deserve a fucking Big Mac.
right? Do you feel that after a big PR, if you eat a bunch of shitty food, is that going to negatively affect your recovery? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that going to
yeah.
potentially make your next
For
PR
me-
further away?
Not necessarily.
No?
I don't think. As long as you, like, this is where I'm at right now, because like I've mentioned before, my nutrition is shit right now.
Mm-hmm.
As long as I hit certain boxes. So if Because the issue I have, and I think a lot of people have this, is getting enough protein in. Like if you're not tracking and you are like an athlete and a lifter, that for me, I have to try to get my protein in because I weigh 235 pounds. You should get around one gram per pound of body weight. Some people say 0.7, whatever. So I should be getting north of 200 grams of protein. That's tough for me to get sometimes. So if there's a post-workout meal, for me right now, I don't really give a shit about calories. I'm just kind of eating the way I feel.
Yeah, we can tell.
Such a dick move.
But
with all the ginger jokes, that was
as
fine.
long as I make sure, like, okay, I need to make sure my protein's there.
Right.
And then carb and fat are going to be decently high anyway. I don't think that as long as I kind of check those boxes, I'm fine with it. But that's also, I am not super precise on my training right now either. You know what I mean? If I were like peaking for meat or under an incredible amount of volume where stuff like that matters more, then it could affect. But for where I'm at right now, not necessarily.
Yeah, it's so crazy that a good diet will help you when you're doing volume and a terrible one will hurt you. But when you're peaking, sometimes it doesn't matter.
Sometimes
it's just put those calories down. You know?
Right. And for me too, I know how my body will respond to certain foods. So like I don't do very well with lactose. Like for whatever reason, I'm fine with cheese, but like yogurt and milk and stuff like that just destroys me. So like I'll know when to not have stuff like that. You know what I mean? You kind of have to know what works for you and what foods will make your body feel like, so then you can adjust whatever you're going to eat.
So what's your go-to feeling really good today? This is what I'm going to eat.
Chipotle.
Damn it. What a lame
What,
answer.
dude?
Holy shit.
Chipotle is life.
Chipotle.
That is true.
I'm talking, I don't give a damn.
I drive by
But
one
yeah,
on
post.
my way home, so.
Yeah.
If it's a normal workout day for me, even if I hit a PR in the gym, I stay on my plan. Right. So it's always,
But let's say you're going to blow your plan.
or let's say after a meet. I know what I go to immediately after a meet.
Did you tell him?
Sushi.
already?
Oh yeah, he knows because usually that's what we do. After a meet, that he goes with me to, if it's available, it's sushi roll, and it's as much as I can fit in my mouth, like as fast as I can. I love and Asian food in general. I love the rice. I love like orange chicken, sushi. But the funny thing is, we both were really disappointed in each other the last time we went.
Yeah, because we didn't even put that much away.
We couldn't put that much away. And you can tell that our bodies are changing and that we're in the cycles that we're at. When I was in dumpster carbs and I had no nutrition set, I could eat like a college football player. Like I could have put down a large pizza all by myself and been fine. Maybe a little tired afterwards, but fine. Whereas like yesterday coming out of meet, it was just a bench meet. So it wasn't like I was totally exhausted, everything in my system.
You honestly probably did less work yesterday than you do in a normal workout.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And we're sitting at Chili's and I order this this amazing like grilled club sandwich on like sourdough with
By
fries.
the way, shout out to Chili's, dude. That was a great meal we had there yesterday.
Yeah, that was really
I had
good.
some chicken and steak fajitas, and
There were shrimpies in there too. You had
Never
shrimp
been
in
to a
yours too,
Chili's.
didn't you?
no, I did chicken and steak.
Okay.
Never been
Yeah.
to a Chili's. Good?
That was the
Oh
first
my
time I've
God.
ever been, dude.
It was so
yeah.
good. Yeah. And the chips and queso and yeah.
Jeez.
But I was surprised that because I'm
Chili's baby back ribs.
this bench meet is in the middle of an actual training cycle getting ready for a full power meet, right? My nutrition's been pretty on point and I couldn't even finish what was on my plate. Like
Yeah,
I
you
barely
ate
got
half of it.
halfway. I
Yeah.
barely got halfway. I barely ate half my fries. And I remember looking at it going, what have I become? What has happened to me?
You become
You're
a
almost
smaller
disappointed in
person.
yourself. You're like, damn.
And guess what I
Back
did?
in my day, I could put that whole damn thing away.
Dude, you guys have no idea. Like, I could have been a Kobayashi power eater. Like, I have this way to unconsciously just eat. It is one of the worst things to be an emotional eater and have the ability. Like, if you see me shotgun a Coors Light, I can put away food. It's unbelievable.
Weren't we going to shotgun an energy drink?
I think that's a bad idea. I think I might have a heart attack or I might, like, literally be like Roger Rabbit and blow through the ceiling. You tell
Yeah,
yourself,
like,
like,
all right.
dude, calorie hoarding.
Yep.
Let's do
The
this.
wheels
And then
are
I was
coming
like,
off of this thing. We're going all out.
See, you
right?
guys
And
are
I was like,
crazy.
look, I wore my pretty panties and I just can't eat all my food today.
My
And then I
pretty
left.
panties.
I left the box with the rest of the sandwich
Did you?
at the
I
restaurant.
do that all the fucking time.
Yeah, I'll take that to go.
Okay,
but I'm
so
going to leave it here.
You pizza?
Pizza.
You know the waiter's like, fucking A, I brought the goddamn box.
Right.
And then they leave the shit here.
Yeah,
That's your go-to though.
my go-to is always pizza. Because
Okay.
usually, so there's other foods I like better, but the next morning I won't feel like shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want to wake up and my eyes are puffy. I feel like I didn't get any sleep. If I eat Domino's, I'll wake up 15 times in the middle of the night to drink water.
You like
But-
that?
No, I hate waking up feeling like shit.
And pizza does that
Most
to
pizzas
you?
don't do that to me. Yeah, but if I do donuts or if I do pasta or if I do anything,
Oh, okay.
You know?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Because of the massive glycemic crash you're going to take off of
exactly.
those.
Well,
Pasta
with
will
pizza,
literally
for
put me to
whatever
sleep.
reason, it does. Because I'll even go like barbecue sauce pizza, where there's just tons of sugar to it.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I feel fine the next morning.
I just want you to know.
I can't. Usually, it's candy. Like,
Candy will mess you up.
dude, I'll eat 5 pounds of candy.
Really?
Nope.
Milk duds,
Oh, God, I'd
Swedish
vomit.
fish,
I'm
sour
not
patch.
a huge candy guy.
Dude, you're
honestly.
a little bitch, aren't you?
No, I would literally get sick.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just
It would
don't.
make me sick. I can't
I'd
even eat an
much
entire bag of
rather
Doritos.
I'd much rather have chips than
Fruits-
have sweet candy.
Like fruit snacks.
Straight up
So,
chips and salsa. I can eat it till it comes out my ears.
Walmart
It's bad.
sells Smiley fruit snacks, right? They sell it in the 50 pack. I
Yes,
have
dude.
eaten the entire
boxes
box.
that are like
I've eaten the
foot by
entire
foot.
box in one sitting.
Makes my
know
jaw
what's
hurt
really
and
good?
my
I just
stomach
open
hurt.
them all up, sort
yeah,
the colors
dude.
because I'm OCD apparently, and I just eat all of the colors. Just-
Katie. Are you? Can you repeat that? You
Here we
open
go.
them all up.
Here, I'll say it
You
to you.
sort.
I sort them. Yeah, yellow, orange, red, and purple.
What the fuck is your problem?
Just hear me out. And depending upon my mood, I always go yellow then orange because I hate yellow, so I'll eat it first. Then I'll eat the orange. Some days I'm feeling like red is really good, so I'll eat the purple first. But some days I want the grape, so I'll go red first.
You're
Dude,
a psycho.
Do you have like
I know.
a mini stroke when you
Dude.
watch people pop all of them in their mouth?
That's
at the
what
same
I
time?
do.
There are sometimes I will, but most of the time I got to sort that shit out.
So let me get this.
It
let me
comes
get
from-
this straight here.
Yeah, go for it.
Your mood depends on
Really?
the way that you eat.
No, the way that he eats the fruit snacks depends
Depends
on
on
his
his
mood.
mood.
Yeah, exactly. So when I was a kid, my brother and I used to sort and then trade. So
Oh,
I always
God.
got in the habit of sorting it. But
That's
yeah,
the biggest
that's-
nerd
You were
shit
that
I've
kid.
ever
You were
heard in my
that kid.
life.
Yeah, I was.
That's why you're small in stature, because you were spending too much time sorting your goddamn food instead of eating it. 2,000 calories of just straight
Just
sugar.
Sugar straight to the dome. Now my favorite fruit snacks though, they switched it to like a gummy bear taste. Ugh, it makes me sick when I eat them, but I still eat them.
The Smileys?
No, I used to eat sharks and dinosaurs. I think is what they were, food club style. Oh, for some reason those are the bomb.
Dude, those Smileys are the
way to
best.
go.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Katie's brother,
Mhm.
Tim, he is a fiend of those things, just like you.
Yeah.
And he has them. Keeps them in the freezer
Ooh.
because
They're
then
a
they
little
last
hard.
and they last a little bit longer because you got to chew them a little more.
I eat the whole box. What the fuck? What do you mean last longer?
I had a
No,
friend
get
who
what
would
you're
go
saying.
to TCBY and she would always get gummy bears put on it. And I'm like, how do you chew these things? Like, because
Yeah.
they freeze
Hard.
on you, you know?
Right.
Not huge into gummy bears.
I'm not a huge gummy bear fan either.
Well, you probably hated gummy worms because they were multiple color and you didn't know how to sort them.
No, I would.
What the fuck do I do with
You
this
guys ready
thing?
for this? So there's always the yellow and the green together. So I would bite the yellow and put the green down. And then there was so like trolleys. So like the sour worms, they had blue and red. You know, just eat
I'm
them.
Yeah.
lost. I'm lost.
When it comes to candy, I am very like OCD. Just candy. Like if I have Milk Duds and I got
Milk Duds and Twizzlers.
Well, yeah, like Twizzler nibs. You can eat those until you're 10,000 pounds because
Oh, yeah.
you get a little bit of like
See,
chocolatey.
like
and
I
then
said, I'm
sweet
not
and-
never really been a candy guy.
God, you're a.
Mine only associates with certain things like Twizzlers nibs and a Diet Coke.
How many
is
people
my-
listening to this now are getting hungry? by
Right.
the way?
You're right.
Sorry.
Or they're saying, I feel normal.
Or they're like, I'm gonna go get my cheat meal because these motherfuckers are making me hungry.
Do you know what's the funniest? Like on Joe Rogan's podcast when they all get really high and then they just start talking about like the best tasting foods ever. I'm just listening. I'm like, oh my god. I'm
I
so
need to eat
hungry.
that shit. Oh my
And
goodness.
I'm also like, these guys are so fucking
They're
baked.
so
it's
high right now.
ridiculous.
What
What-
chips are you eating?
Chips. Ooh. My go-to, like the first thing that popped in my head when you said that, nacho Doritos.
Really?
Those things are so
Nacho
addictive.
Doritos just by themselves, or are you talking like munchies?
Well, if you want,
where you get
no,
the s-
no, no, by themselves.
Yeah.
But then if you want to get crazy, get a little cheese salsa dip,
Queso.
Oh, the queso.
You
the,
put
the
nacho
Tostitos
cheese in
queso dip.
dude.
That sounds good.
Dude,
That sounds good.
yeah.
I'll have that.
I like the extra cheddar munchies.
Or nacho Doritos, and then you make nachos.
Oh yeah,
out
I've
of the
done that.
nacho
Yeah,
Doritos.
Put some hamburger on there, and yeah.
Dude.
But no, seriously, I'll go the extra cheddar munchies because they put those
See, there's too much shit in
those
there,
Quaker
man.
Oat grams in there.
So do
where
you
it's like
sort that too?
No, I just eat that shit. I just eat that shit. But I will say I do eat all those grams first, so I guess I do kind of sort it.
Like the bread things?
Yeah, whatever it is. It's like
Yeah.
an oatmeal thing, but it's like brown sugar, but it gets coated in cheese a little bit, and for some reason it's amazing. But I'll eat all those first because Courtney wants them, and I'm a little.
Do you want to
dick
talk
and I
about
eat 'em all.
anything else besides food
Yeah,
today,
let's
or what?
actually talk about something real.
Not that you care, but my favorite chips are Tato skins in the
Oh, those are
bacon
pretty
cheddar
good.
flavor.
Oh,
Brooke,
yeah.
what are your favorite chips? All right, moving on.
Oh
Wait,
man.
whose podcast is this?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Who's talking?
So, Josh, what you primarily do for work, right? You work, instead of one-on-one, you work primarily with like group classes,
Yeah,
right? Or
yeah,
that's
yeah.
a lot of what you do.
Right. Yeah.
So, we want to talk a little bit about group training, some of the positives and negatives. So just kind of, I guess, go over it a little bit.
Well, so a big
What
one,
you like about it, and then what are some issues with the concept
Yeah.
of group training?
Yeah, so the concept of group training, at least the way that I try to do it, is 6 people, 8 people, whatever.
I think that's huge right there. 6 to 8 people.
Yeah.
Because anything above that,
10 is tough.
yeah, well, it gets hard to manage, man.
Yeah.
Like how can one coach be sitting there and watching?
Right.
Because there are other gyms in the area that have 20, 25 people
Right.
in a group.
For one
And they
coach.
think that's good. We got more people here,
Mhm.
but then the product suffers
Yeah.
because there's people out here basically doing what they
It's
want.
very unsupervised.
Right.
Yeah, for
so,
sure.
okay, sorry to interrupt. Go
No,
ahead.
that's fine. So up to 10, and even days where there's 10, sometimes it's too much.
Yeah, you got to have your head on a swivel,
Yeah.
man.
Well, what's nice is the way we structure things is I might have everybody doing the same thing at the same time so I can see everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then, hey, the next time we come back to this exercise, I can fix it. But anyway,
Right.
up to 10 people. But the way I look at it is rather than one person paying me $60 an hour, why not have 10 people paying $75 an hour total? So everybody coughs
Right,
up
right,
$7 to
right.
$8 a class.
Well, and that's why it's good for the consumer too, because they're not
Absolutely.
paying as much
Yeah.
as a one-on-one session.
Absolutely. And the way I do it, at least the way I try to do it, is I want them to feel like it is a personal training session, even though there's 4 other people there.
Right. You
5
want to
other
bring
people.
that dynamic in and make sure everyone feels like they're getting the attention
For
they
sure.
need,
Mhm.
even when there's other people around.
Yeah. And sometimes it pushes me to exhaustion, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because I'll put in so much effort and emphasis on making sure everybody feels
Yeah, dude,
like
you're running
it's
around
just
like
me
a
and them.
Chicken with your head cut
Yeah,
off.
Absolutely. Kind of a sidebar. A lot of people say, Josh, do you do cardio? Yeah, I teach class. 'Cause
Right,
seriously,
right.
I'm back
Right.
and forth running and yeah. So if you are in a group training situation where there is 10 or less people and you have a coach that actually cares,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I work with coaches that
That's a
do the
big
same
if.
thing that don't
If
care.
you have a coach
Yeah,
that cares.
They don't care. Where they're there punching a time clock. But in at least the way that I'm structuring these classes, I'm doing my best to make sure everybody is challenged in a safe way. And what's cool about group is one-on-one, can I pinpoint your errors better? Absolutely. If
Mhm.
it's just me only focusing on you, I can look at, every joint in your body really fast and I can say, oh, you need to do this.
Right.
So I can give you more attention. But in a group training class, you have 3 to 5 other people in there that could potentially be doing something better than you or working harder than you or working
Right.
less hard than you, and they step up to try to catch up with you.
And I think that's a huge thing is like there's so many people that are just innately competitive.
Yeah.
And also people that can be kind of followers too.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say if they're on their own with you, they might not be pushed.
Right.
But if there's someone next to them they can tell, they're like, holy shit, they're going
Right.
hard. I don't want to be the person that sticks out that I'm slacking.
Right.
So then they pick it up a little bit.
Yeah.
That's going to just help. And I think that's a reason that CrossFit has taken off
Mhm.
and did take off so much, is because it's kind of like, it's cool working out with other people too, because they push you in different ways.
Yeah. I try to make it the atmosphere like what I would assume a football team does when they're in the weight gym. everybody's excited for each other, where everybody celebrates them doing better,
Right.
right? Whether it's a new PR or whatever. But I have higher standards where I don't care if you can put 500 pounds on your back and bend your knees and stand back up. That's
Right.
not a squat to me, right?
Yeah, dude, I tell you what, that was some of the funnest times I had
Exactly.
lifting was lifting with my football team. Because when we would have max out days, dude, and it was cool for me too, because like, I mean, granted, I was one of the guys lifting like some of the most weight in there. So like when I was maxing out, like people were getting hyped.
Yeah.
There was literally, I was in the squat rack and literally everyone is surrounding the rack and just
Cheering you on.
screaming.
Mhm.
Like I've never been so hyped in my entire
Right.
life. And those days I probably did more than I should have been
Right.
capable of because I was just so amped.
Right. And that's taking it to an extreme where some people, their form will break,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
But I want it where everybody,
You bring that
They-
aspect
yeah,
in, but there's
I
still the
try.
control
Exactly.
of doing shit
because
right.
I look at it as if I can get all of these people to bond better
Mhm.
because they suffer through something together,
And
it's
that's
going to make them
huge.
stronger, and then they're going to
Yeah.
be able to kind of pick on each other's weaknesses
Oh yeah.
as that dynamic grows. But sometimes that's a bad thing too, where maybe, Joe Bloschmo is looking to their right and seeing some person
Right.
doing more weight than them. They might step up to that weight that they're not
ready for,
right?
yeah.
And then it's my job to step in and, hey, you need to settle down.
Right.
You're not doing it right. But yeah, so in a class, I'm constantly running around. Let's say they're squatting or something, trying to fix them and do it all like that. But like you were saying, in a lot of group training classes, I mean, the word boot camp comes to mind, where
Yeah,
the
that buzzword.
instructor kind of just stands at the front screaming at people, and
Or doesn't even
yeah.
pay attention
True. Yeah,
to
and
people.
unfortunately, body pump is that way, where the instructor is so busy doing the exercise up front,
Right.
they have to focus on giving you the next cue. They have to focus on doing it right so you can see it, because
Mhm.
they're doing it at the same time as you,
Right.
and that's rough to me. I'll
Yeah,
structure.
it's tough, especially because you can have those people that sit in the back of the room and
Yeah.
just kind of go through the motions, and they're kind of intimidated to be there in the
Right.
first place, so they stand in the back.
They need the most help.
Right, and you're way in the front trying to look in the mirror to look back at those people, but you can't go back and really help them because you
Exactly.
got to show them what to do in the first place.
I think that comes down to you have to look at it on a teaching perspective.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a big difference between group classes that you can individually teach because you can show the movement. Like, for example, in Alloy, you can show the movement and then you can walk around and you can help people. But in something like a body pump, or even when you look at any other group fitness class, it's like a yoga or anything like that, where you need someone constantly demonstrating because there's a constant flow to the movements. That should be a team teach.
For sure.
Right.
You need at least a second coach.
You don't know who's coming in.
Exactly.
Do you have 60-year-old Sally who's coming in and she's never done anything and she just wants to lose some weight and feel better about herself? Or do you also in that same class have Mark who comes in who runs 5Ks and he's trying to better his performance? But when all that's available to you are these group classes as a boot camp, I hated boot camps because I hated waiting for Sally to figure out how to do a single arm curl.
Fucking figure it out, Sally.
Right. And then at the same time, I'm a terrible runner. Like I just, that's not me. So then I would be the last one doing frickin' the suicides
and then
up
you
and
see
down.
everyone sitting on the wall waiting for
And
you.
it
and
was
it's like-
demoralizing. I
Yeah.
hated it.
and then you get the
Last.
courtesy clap, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's sitting there, and
or they're
since you're
like,
the
yeah,
only
come
one
on.
doing it, yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah,
shut
come
up
on,
and leave me
Brooke,
alone.
Yeah.
God
Oh,
damn it.
Yeah. So the way I've combated that is I still get someone who's in great shape. I still get people who are not mobile, things
There's
like
a
that.
lot of people go there that are in great shape.
Yeah.
There's some freaking.
Oh,
jacked.
in my classes, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
dude.
And a lot of them started off kind of jacked,
Mhm.
and now they've really taken off, which is great. They definitely put in work.
Yeah.
But the way I've had it set up is I will show them here's what needs to happen, but I structure precise resting. So I'll say something like, you're only getting 30 seconds to try to do this. After that, you're going to have 40 seconds to get to the next station. But during that time, I'm going to tell you something. Maybe for your next station, maybe it's push-ups. And I'm going to remind you, hey, remember, last time you did the push-ups, they were ugly. We need to do this.
Yep.
So I can give them more guided assistance. Because again, I'm still trying to personal train 8 people at the same time.
Yeah.
So for me, I have to have a really good memory. And sometimes it freaks my athletes out. I'll say, last time you swung a 53-pound kettlebell, it was
That's
pretty easy.
That's a good gift to have as a coach.
Huge memory. Mhm.
I have a trash memory.
Well,
yeah.
Well, what's
I can't
nice
remember
is
specific numbers to save my
oh,
life. That's
yeah.
why I like taking videos so much, because that's how I remember.
right.
Yeah.
And in my class, I mean, I might have 40 people throughout 2 days or
Yeah,
something
dude.
doing similar workouts, but for whatever reason,
That's awesome, man.
numbers for me, I can always remember. You know,
You'd think you'd be smarter.
yeah, you'd think so. You know what I'm saying? You think I'd be able to guide my own workouts better, but yeah, so that's how we've kind of mitigated some of those problems. I still have plenty of problems where I might have 3 people that need a lot of help, and
Right.
then 5 people get neglected.
Mhm.
Right? So
Damn
right,
it, Sally.
Right. Right
Figure it
now I'm
out.
trying to figure out with my bosses how, without charging everybody more, how can we get maybe 1 or 2 classes a week just for those people that I tend to neglect because they are so good, but they still need some extra push. We have 3 different styles of classes. One is more of a very basic, here's a push-up. It's still a really good workout for those more advanced athletes, but then we have a more strength-based and then a more cardio-based circuit style. But even then, there are people where I've only seen them for 3 months and they still need to learn all these, A, B, and C.
Yeah.
But then there are people I've trained for 3 years where there's such a nuance I could show them that would allow them to use 8 more pounds or
And it's
something
tough
like that.
too, because especially when you get into that nuanced stuff, you
I need
can't
time.
explain it in 30 seconds.
No, I need time to,
You need to almost there's been times where you almost have to shift an athlete's way of thinking about something, and that doesn't happen in 30
right,
seconds.
you know? But sometimes I'm concerned with somebody who hasn't even really done it before, where I can't necessarily see on the other side of the room that weight is moving really easy.
Right.
Sometimes, but now
There's been times where, because I used to coach kind of like the same
Yeah.
thing, I'd have to yell across the gym,
yeah,
hey, so-and-so, put some dang
Right.
weight on that bar.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
like, "Ooh."
sometimes
You know,
I'll just walk by and say, "Wow, that looked easy."
Yeah, that's what I said.
But I'll
too.
give them
I'm
that
like-
look like,
Yeah, I'm like, are you kidding me? Is this still a warm up? Or I hope you're not doing your working sets here,
Right.
because that was way too
But
easy.
so other coaches, when they're teaching classes, it's go. This is my job. You're paying, the gym pays me X amount per class
Right.
to give my heart and soul to these people for an hour. That's how I look at
awesome.
it.
You're different though,
Right.
because you're not looking at it as a class. You're looking at it as in, I have 10 athletes in front of me
I
right
have
now.
an hour with these people.
They don't look at it like that.
Right.
It's the reason why it's okay to say, guess what? This class isn't working for me.
Yeah,
I
take that.
could name
I
6
take that
trainers.
shit so personally
Well, yeah, and you should
when an athlete leaves.
because you care.
But then I realize it's like they didn't leave because of me necessarily. They left maybe it was too expensive because so
right.
there are
And
some
that's one dynamic that I never really got used to.
right
Because for me, for whatever reason, it's tough for me to talk about
money. Yeah, it's so hard for me.
So, and I tend to, and this is an issue I have, is I tend to undersell myself a
Yeah,
little bit.
absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's tough to have a conversation with athlete where it's like, hey, I suggest that we do this. You go to
Right.
another class that may be more money,
Mm-hmm.
because then that's more money out
Right.
of their pocket. And that's a kind of a hard conversation to have. You
Right.
know?
There are times where I'll say, you're to a point where if you're really wanting to take it to another level, I can only offer you so much. Because if there's 10 people in class, everybody gets 6 minutes. That's how I look
Right.
at it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's as fair as I can be. In 6 minutes, I can't necessarily do this for you. It's $35, but a half an hour a week, $35 a session, I can really take you to that
Right.
next level.
Right.
But it's so hard to
Yeah.
tell people that because, my classes aren't that expensive, but
Mhm.
they're still paying more than a body pump class,
Well, and
which is zero.
when you think about they're
Right.
paying for a gym membership
Mhm.
and then this on top of that, like,
Exactly.
but that's also a good thing that you take that into consideration. So you're like, fuck, man, I better deliver to these people
Yeah.
because they're paying their hard-earned money.
hmm
Like, when I think about stuff like that, I'm like, okay, gym membership, what, $40 a month,
hmm
session with me, X amount of money. Like, that's like 5 hours of work.
Right.
Or whatever. You know what I mean? That's people working for this amount of
Right.
time. So they're working for that amount of time, and I'm only giving them an hour.
Right.
So I really have to be good, you know?
Well, that's kind of where the complete athletes started.
Mm-hmm. Because
Was-
you weren't able to offer all of them in that
Exactly.
time. So you're like, boom, here's a resource
Mm-hmm.
that you can access that's still my information.
Exactly.
But I don't necessarily need to be right
I don't need to
there.
waste your time in class because there's other things I need to talk about.
Right. It's tough for a lot of newbies because they go on YouTube and they type in how to squat more.
Or lose
and
weight.
look at all these effing videos that show up.
Mhm.
And 90% of those people are schmoes that don't know what the hell they're talking
Right.
about. So you need to, and that's why a resource like yours is so good. Boom. You already know, you go to this resource. Josh knows what the fuck he's talking about. So you don't need to look at all these different videos and be like, okay, well, this guy said this guy said this, I should maybe do something in the middle. It's much easier to sift through that stuff when you have one trusted source. Because that's what was tough for me when I first started is like, I would just watch these videos that were entertaining to watch, not necessarily information.
Right. Yeah.
So you get a lot of, and how many of these lifters are famous because they lift a lot of weight, and then people think, oh, since they lift a lot of weight, they must know what they're talking
well,
about.
how many gold medalists in the Olympics make good coaches? You know, a good coach is somebody who knows what it's like to kind of struggle through.
Right, because a good coach has worked through all the possible angles in order to get the worst.
Sometimes the best coaches aren't very good athletes.
Gifted people don't make the best coaches because for a lot of them, they just started doing it and they were good at it. They didn't have to work for that. Whereas someone
they get
who
away
had
with
to
murder.
work, someone who had to work knows the process.
Yeah, mechanically, my body isn't built to be the best weightlifter, but I'm okay.
See, now with someone like me, you have best of both worlds. I'm strong as fuck, and I'm a good coach.
What does that
getting hurt.
smell? It smells like bullshit.
God, where are the waiters?
Cole, you sent me to some great videos back when we were fighting about the fact that my old coach said, no, you shouldn't sumo deadlift. Even though I was telling him these conventionals at only 165 are starting to hurt me. Like they hurt. Like, what's going on? This is weird.
Yeah, so you should just keep doing them.
You should keep doing them, right?
And not look for a solution. Yeah, that's a great idea.
And he told me that he wasn't going to allow me to sumo deadlift because no one had ever pulled a world record in sumo.
That was his response.
Yes.
That was
he
his
said,
response.
You won't pull sumo. How many world records have been pulled sumo? And I'm like, literally like all of them.
And one had been pulled. I was like, one of them had been pulled that weekend too. Yeah. And I just remember one of my last sessions with him, I looked at him and I go, we're just going to fight about this. And I did an entire session with him not talking.
Nice.
I didn't talk to him the entire time. It was awful.
Let's say that were true. Let's say that sumo deadlifts never set a world record.
It still
if
doesn't
it leaves
matter.
If it leaves you without pain.
What's wrong with it?
Exactly. That's
So-
what's so
so you're not
funny
gonna
is,
get a
one,
world
he
record.
was
So what?
wrong,
Yeah.
and two, the reason was shit in the first place.
If it causes
Right?
pain, if it causes pain and you can't fix it with mobility work or stability work, why are you doing it?
Right.
I can't believe I was so
So-
pissed when I heard you say that to me. Oh my god.
And I just on a whim said, fuck it, I'm going to lift sumo. And so I looked up, Untamed Strength was one of them.
Oh yeah, Alan Thrall for the
Love
win, man.
him so much. Calgary Barbell.
Price. He's the man.
I'm secretly really in love with Calgary Barbell. Because it's Calgary Barbell, not because it's Bryce. Right. Man Crush Monday. Didn't you, after we started talking, you sent me somewhere else? Did you send me to TSA? You
As
might
far
have.
as a podcast or
No, as far
videos?
as it was a video on learning how to appropriately sumo deadlift.
No, it's probably Juggernaut.
Maybe.
I use a lot. They have some really good resources
But-
that I
I agree.
used.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
had gone to those and literally
Which I
taught
haven't
myself.
watched in a long time.
Dude, you should watch. They have pillars. They're pillar videos.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Yeah,
but it's
they're
been a long
frickin-
time.
They're good.
They got so boring.
Well, hey man,
Unfortunately.
good information isn't always entertaining.
Sometimes
lot of times
learning
those-
isn't,
but also, you
isn't super
don't
fun.
necessarily do like a sumo deadlift, so of course it's gonna be boring to you.
Well, I mean, they still had their weightlifting videos and things like that.
yeah,
but
Max isn't the most colorful guy, is he?
It's pretty tough.
I freaking love Max. though.
He's cool. He is
Yeah.
cool, but it's like, God,
So I took it upon myself to go to these sources that I had been hearing from more and more people were legitimate. And I learned how to sumo deadlift. And I sent him the one video. I said, so I know like we don't really talk, but can you just watch this and tell me what you think? And he goes, oh. And then at that point, he was like pissed. He's like,
because
You
you told
were,
me what
like-
he had said.
right. And he goes, you were made to sumo deadlift. He
Right.
goes, it just fits you. Like you're natural at this.
longer legs, shorter torso, that type
I'm
of
a
thing.
T-Rex, man. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just a prime example of when you talk about not having the right coach for you or someone who doesn't put that extra in, and not because they don't have the capacity, but because they don't make it a priority for you.
They don't see
And-
the dire consequence.
Right. Like my favorite Alan Thrall video
my
to this
gosh.
day is the one where he starts and you watch him clean his gym.
Yeah, he
Like-
put a whole video of him just cleaning his gym.
It's like the best ASMR I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, can we talk about ASMR? What the fuck is ASMR? And why do people like it?
I
Creeps
have
me
no
out.
idea what ASMR is. No fucking clue.
It's like this neuro thing where like
Narrow. It's just sounds on a microphone, and people think, "Oh, it's so satisfying. It gives me chills." It's like you're a fucking freak. So
Serious? Is that what it is?
that's how I feel about ASMR.
I have
so.
no idea what that shit is. I have no idea.
that is for an entirely different podcast.
I
I
am
just
just
want
wanted
you
to
to know.
vent on that quick because that shit is weird.
but
It is a little weird, but at the same time, I kind of go,
And why
"Ooh."
are they all Asians that do it?
why is it me that's going to bring us
Mukbang.
back on topic here?
Wow.
Why is it
Wow.
me?
Dang, dude.
Holy
So
shit.
anyway,
So going
circle
back,
back. You will do their homework for them and say, hey, guess what?
here's a summary.
I got a little bit of stuff for you.
Well, it saves them the time of sifting
Right.
through all that shit.
And
you
I
know,
th-
it's
Some of the athletes and the reason they've stuck with me, I have an athlete that's well over 5 years she's been with me. She
what's
says
her problem?
I don't know. Dude, it's $400 a month, and now she's also in my group training. So she just loves
Wow.
the shit. Very, very
Good for you,
invested,
man.
right?
That speaks a lot about.
But she
you,
said her
honestly.
favorite thing is she feels like as she's trained with me, she's grown with me. Because she said she always appreciates when I'll enter a conversation and say, okay, I have a new way of thinking about this.
Right.
Here's my idea. Let's go through it this
You know
way.
what's cool is that
That I'm-
that shows her that you're continuing to learn
And that
think
I'm
about
willing
things
to
different.
change.
Absolutely, man.
And willing
And
to
that-
be wrong.
Well, and that goes back to that people speaking in absolutes. Like,
Yeah.
I will never have one of my clients pull sumo because how many world records have been
Right.
pulled sumo? It's like, okay, first of all, you're not a good enough coach to coach anyone to a world record anyway.
Right.
So why are you even
Or
worried about that?
unfortunately, have any of your athletes lose weight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, we've talked about this before, but a lot of people are in the industry for the wrong reasons.
Mhm.
And a lot of people are in the industry because they just got into it because they just want to make money and then they're not passionate about
Right.
it. And
But so
it's refreshing to have someone like you who works in a gym that has a lot of people in it like that, a lot of the employees like that.
right.
But you still you almost got fired because you did the complete athlete stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But you were doing it because you care about your athletes and
Mhm.
you're like,
All right.
obviously
fire me.
what they're allowing me to do is not enough for my athletes.
Right.
So I need to go on my own route that I can do more. And you didn't get paid for any of that stuff.
Still haven't. Yeah.
Right. And you are, just
But
going above
Do you know
and
how many
beyond.
of my coworkers use the complete athlete with their athletes? And do you know how many of my, I guess they're above me, like manager style, learn shit from my videos?
Yeah.
Because I'll hear them. I'm like, you're kind of quoting me right now. Not giving me credit, but you're quoting me right now. I like it. But with our, I was going to say Toilet Talk Tuesday, with our Take Notes Tuesday
TNT.
TNT
that we just did.
Dynamite.
And if you guys didn't hear it, you got to hear it. But I was talking about how I just decided to change my snatch my start,
Yep.
all the practice that I put in, just because I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to fuck up, but I'm also sometimes I take those risks because they pay off.
Well, and that's every once in a while you have to just
Try something new.
Well, and that's something you do a lot, right? So it's easy to fall into a certain rut of like, this is just how I do this.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're willing to take a step back and look at it through a different lens and be able to be like, hey, this is how I've been doing this, but what if I did this instead? You're never going to know if that other way is better if you don't try it. And it might not be better. Then it's like, okay, well, I'll just go back to the way I did it before.
And the way I look at it is now I know something not to tell my athletes.
Yes.
Like
Right.
I see that you're trying to think of it like this. I've done
I've done it.
I spent 6 weeks doing that. It's going to feel good at first, but then you're going to develop tendonitis or, this shit's going to happen because your body's not in the right position,
We're not trying to be the best. We're trying to be better.
If athletes spent as much time worrying about their technique as they did trying to get the heaviest lift for an Instagram video, they'd be much better off in the long run.
For sure.
And I think that's why social media, it's obviously been really good for the industry, but I think there's a couple of things that have been negative about it too, and that a lot of people just lift for the gram.
Mhm.
And I've said it as like a joke a lot of times, but for a lot of people that's true.
Yeah.
Because like for me the other day, I was deadlifting 575
Mhm.
and I put the weight on the bar and I looked at Calvin who I was deadlifting with, and I'm like, you know what that is, buddy? I said, that's discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know how easy it'd be to just throw
585.
throw another plate on, 6 plates, 585.
Yeah, we've talked about
you
that.
know how much cooler that looks on Instagram?
Yeah, I was
that's
just
why-
doing 313.
Yeah.
Welcome to my bench prep.
Right.
I could have lifted that last day before meet because I was a little off from being sick that week and stuff. And I knew I was only getting 1 lift day instead of like 2 or 3. I told him, I go, I know it's not going to sound very great, but this is where I stopped. It was probably more like an RPE 6, 7 instead of a 9. I'm like, but I'm only 2 days out from meet, so I'm not going to sit here. It's hard to do that.
Well, and that was a tough thing too, is because you were sick.
You feel good.
I wanted you to actually do that lift on Monday.
And it was a Wednesday.
That's why I told you when you did that, I was like, honestly, I'm happy you did that because I didn't want you to go that heavy close to meet anyway.
Right.
So.
Right? But that's really hard to do because it takes a little hit to the gut.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
That's why I tell all my athletes, you have to leave the ego at the door.
Yeah.
Because that ego is not going to help you in any way. Like, I mean, sometimes obviously if you're going for a top lift in a meet or whatever and you get all hyped up and, you know, you want to fucking look cool or lift the most amount of weight, that's helpful. But it's not helpful when you're constantly overshooting and doing the wrong things because you want to look a certain way or be perceived in this certain way.
Right.
Like that, in the long run, that's wrong. I mean, that's gonna, like that post said, that's gonna hurt you in the long run.
Which is how most people do it. They're trying to teach themselves to do it a way that this person only did it this one time because it was so heavy.
Right.
You know?
Well, and here's the thing too, like as powerlifters at a meet, at the end of the day is, did you get the lift according to the rules, right? So you have to, you know, did you get white lights?
Right.
That's all that matters.
True.
But in training, what we're doing is we are trying to achieve the technique at the most efficient level possible.
Yeah.
And
you
at
want 3
the-
white lights every single rep.
Right. But also the way to lift heavier weight is to do it efficiently, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's her phone vibrating, by the way.
It was mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
But the reason we do that is because we want to be the most efficient possible.
Right.
And if you're constantly going to that super high lift, instead of ingraining the efficient way to do it, you're ingraining this wrong way to do it. So you're going to be more apt to do that on
Always.
every rep.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know? So that's why I like sticking to kind of like lower RPEs,
Mm-hmm.
maybe doing more volume, but staying to a lower RPE so you can drill that technique.
Oh, for sure.
Drill that efficiency so
Yeah.
that, again, that's just going to be like we talked about in Taking Out Tuesday. That's going to be an automatic thing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Is you're, instead of defaulting to your bad technique, you're going to default to this technique that you only do all the time anyway.
Always. Yeah.
So that's what, and like I mentioned before, that's why I think Instagram is tough because you always want to go heavier,
Mhm.
right? 'Cause
Yeah. Well, you want
more
people.
weight
You want
equals
more
more
likes.
likes.
Yeah. You
Yes.
want that dopamine release. I don't know if you saw it. This was well before the coaches collab, but I did a Facebook and Instagram post where it was me highlighting all of my misses, and then finally at the end the make.
Oh yeah.
Right. So that's what I've been doing this time around.
The lead up.
Yeah, exactly. So every workout I'm videotaping, every single lift at my working sets, and all I'm doing is saving the misses. Because I want people, when they see that I get this, you know, let's say I clean and jerk double body weight,
All the fails.
I want them to see all the days that I really had to grind it out that you guys didn't see. And hey, yeah, at the end of this all, I had this great lift, but look at all the trials I had to go
Right,
through.
right.
All the misses, and then, you know, maybe even do a voiceover where I say, you know, I was making this mistake. Here's me correcting it, which made me use less weight because I couldn't lift because the efficiency wasn't there. But now here's the new efficiency. Here's my new PR.
Well, and that's the thing too, is people are only going to post on socials what looks good,
Yeah.
right? They're not going to post that video
Failures.
of 5 that they failed on the last rep or
Mhm.
that last rep looks like absolute garbage
Mhm.
because that's not good looking,
Right.
right?
But I
So-
want people to see it because
Right,
it's a
but that's-
coachable moment.
Exactly. But that's what a lot of people who are consuming this information don't
Mhm.
realize. They think like, holy shit, they're doing this. or
Right.
they're
This
doing
person
that.
never misses.
Exactly.
Right. That's
Exactly.
so Hook Grip. I don't know if you ever see
yeah.
videos by Hook Grip. They're constantly showing great lifts. But what
Mhm.
I love about Hook Grip and all things gym is they might follow a lifter from warm up to finish.
Yeah.
And you get to see all these little changes that they'll make as they're warming up. And again, it's another coachable moment where you say to yourself, holy shit, it's not always perfect.
Yeah.
Or California Strength is a weightlifting channel
Cal
that
Strength,
I
yeah.
Cal Strength that I like to watch. And sometimes they just show videos of just misses. And I love that. I
Yeah.
love it so much because it's
Well, it's being truthful.
exactly. Yeah.
You know, this whole facade of Instagram and everything's freaking good and I'm always
Right.
super strong.
and my ass looks like this, and
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I
man.
put on filters to look better. And,
Yeah, I
you
only
know.
took 200 pictures in order to get this one
Right.
perfect one.
Yeah.
Like, get out of here, man. Like, that's not real.
No,
That
exactly.
shit is not real. And that's, people tend to get the misconception that that's how these people are.
Mhm.
Like, they're always just,
perfect.
yeah.
And then it gives you
And
a
then it makes you make decisions on your training styles or whatever you're doing based on that when that's not even the real thing anyway.
Or you see somebody do, let's say, a 5-rep max, and you say to yourself, well, I need to be lifting that for my 5s. But then you get the misconception in your brain that my 6 sets of 5,
Mhm.
I got to do that weight. And then you constantly bombard yourself with thinking, I need to be squatting that. I can't even squat it for 1. I got to be
That's
doing
why-
6 sets of 5 at that to be
That's
that good.
why you need, as an athlete who's training and trying to get better, comparison will destroy you.
Exactly.
You have to look inward on yourself and then just try to get better yourself. Because I guarantee you, like, maybe if you're super competitive and you see what those other people are doing, that might help you train harder.
Yeah, it's nice to know what the body's capable of.
But you can't let that take over.
no.
And you have to still be like, okay, this is what's right for
Right.
me right now.
Yeah, how do I put 1 kilo on?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're watching somebody who's setting a world record, they're one of one right now.
Right.
You know, there's, let's say, 1 million people in that weight class. Let's just say that. They're the 1 out of 1 million.
Yep.
You might be right now the 10,000 out of 1 million.
Exactly.
But you're still better than 990,000 people. That's not what you think of. You think
Right.
of that one person that might be lifting 100 kilos more than you, and you say to yourself, why aren't I that good? I need to start doing sets of 5 at something I can't even
Or
manage.
I need to take out a rest day and keep
Right.
training harder.
Or I need to get on steroids.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man. It's
Don't
just
get me started on steroids. Larry Wheels is going to die.
Yeah.
Wow.
I made Josh look up that video of him bleeding
Bleeding
out of
from his chest. At first, I thought he was just being dramatic. Like, was it coming from his ear or his nose and dripping on his chest? It was literally oozing from random pores on his chest.
Yeah. Amen.
That's pressure.
Yep.
Well.
Here's what I think. I think, for one, that's fucking, like, what he's
Insane.
been able to do is incredible.
And he's what, 23?
23 years old. So I think, for one, that's effing amazing. But, like, am I willing to do something like that? No. Like, I'm good. You can have all that. But
Right.
he's been on the record saying, hey, if I only live till I'm 40, I'm fine with that. So that's his prerogative. You know, that's his choice.
Right.
And I'm not, like I said, I'm not willing to make that choice or make that, you know, be that unhealthy or potentially shorten my lifespan for those reasons. Like, that's just not in my interest. But for someone who is, like, I don't give a fuck. Do what you want.
So there's one last thing I want to say about group training. In a group training class where there's 20 people,
Yep.
1 coach, and you're doing a snatch.
Recipe for disaster.
Disaster.
Exactly. Because especially a snatch, a clean, fine, but a jerk, anything overhead, besides like a military press, you need some first of all, you need more than 20 minutes to max out. Second of all, you need more than 20 minutes to learn this motion. I mean, your first day shouldn't be,
Isn't that crazy how, like, some days
2/3
like,
of-
all right, I guess we're doing snatches day, everybody.
yeah,
Like, how many of you have done a snatch before? 3 people raise their
exactly.
hand.
Yeah. And today, you have 20 minutes to find your max, whether that's from the hang or whatever. And some coaches will slow down and say, hey, it's your first time. You should do it with the bar. But by their 5th time, they're doing it full bore.
And they're still trash
And
at
it's
it.
still ugly as shit.
Yeah.
And what bugs me is you don't have to be the best mover to be a good coach.
Right.
You don't have to be able to show your athlete. So I was certified by a guy who he probably could snatch, but he probably couldn't snatch a lot.
Right.
But he knew.
But he was
Like,
technically right.
Yeah, but he knew like exactly how to voice what he was getting at to you, and he was a
Mhm.
great coach.
Which is, again, why some of the strongest people don't
We're not
make
the
it.
elite
Exactly.
lifters. Yeah.
Exactly.
Because this guy, he
This guy only
genetically
learned
was
how to
not very
snatch at
strong.
40.
Right. Genetically, he wasn't very strong, right? But he needed to learn how to eke every kilo out of that snatch.
Exactly.
So he needed to be perfect
Exactly.
at every single thing.
Yeah.
So that's why he's a good coach.
Right. And there are still some great coaches. And if you don't know what we're talking about CrossFit. Because it happens a lot, right? So there are some coaches that if you should inherently know after a few months of training with this person if they know how to get you to that next level, or if they do have your best interest at heart, or if they're only concerned with, hey, the head coach said we have to do snatches today.
Right.
How about you learn how to deadlift it? There are certain athletes in there where I just wish they had enough money that they could hire me as a trainer.
Yeah.
Because there are things like I can
Unlock
get you to
their potential.
clean 350 pounds this year.
Yeah.
For real.
Mhm.
Like they're that good. They just can't afford it. And that
Right.
It's tough.
there's got to be an answer to that. And I'm
Right.
still, Shelby and I are trying to figure that one out. Maybe sponsoring people.
Help them
So
in any way you can.
You're going to help him any way you can. And that's what makes you a great coach.
And by the way, I don't have a problem with people messaging me on Facebook, on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's actually where the last 20 videos came from, is people asking me questions. And I'm
Right.
like, rather than having everybody have to ask me this question, I'm just going to make a video.
Perfect. All right, let's bring this sucker in for a landing. I'm
Do it.
hungry.
Yeah, do it.
All right. Another episode of the Coaches Collaboration Podcast. We are out.
The Coaches Collaboration Podcast. What do you mean you haven't subscribed yet? What the hell are you waiting for?
Come on, y'all.
The Coaches Collaboration Podcast is brought to you by Salutum Health and Performance. Take your full power potential to a new level. Online at salutumhp.com.